Iranian and U.S. technical teams working on the implementation of a memorandum of understanding so are set to meet in Doha in the coming days. Reuters reported on Monday, citing a source with knowledge of the talks. Mediators have established communication channels to de-escalate any incidents, the source added. So we already confirmed this. It seems like both the Islamic Republic and United States are not letting anything get in their way to de-escalate, even with the tough talk on social media against each other, both in the Islamic Republic and President Trump. What reality on the ground, right now at least, is massive de-escalation, like huge push for de-escalation on both sides. It seems like we are getting a lot of tough talk on social media but against each other, but both sides seem very, very interested in de-escalating, for at least for now. And here's what happened. US president, so that was just the news, but then this officially happened. US President Donald Trump said on Monday that Iran had requested a meeting and that it would take place in Doha on Tuesday. So this is what President Trump said. Iran has requested a meeting. It will take place tomorrow in Doha. Trump wrote on Truth Social. So I need to actually find the Truth Social and read it in full. In a post earlier in the day, the US president said Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. So we've heard that already, but let me see if I could find the full Truth Social post. Wow, I'm not seeing it. If somebody, as you guys, do we get any twos in the chat? So while you guys speak, I'll go find
Yeah.
that. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Next to speak on this topic is Noah.
Hey, Armin. Hope you're doing well. My main question is, do we know who's going to be at the talks in Doha? I heard a rumor that Steve Witkoff was going to be there, but I didn't know, like, is it going to be Vance or is it going to be Rubio that's going to go this time? And the same on the IRGC side.
So my understanding, as usual, is, well, I mean, nothing has been announced as far as I know, but my understanding is that it's probably the usual. I don't know if JD Vance is going to go, but Witkoff and Jared Kushner are usually the main people that they talk about. Also, on the Islamic Republic side, IRGC, I don't know. So here's the thing: if Ghalibaf and JD Vance are involved, that's like really significant. That's high level. On a lower level, we have IRGC and JD Vance and Jared Kushner. If it's military, it was probably CENTCOM officials and IRGC commanders that will be talking with each other. Does that answer your question? So nothing has officially been announced as far as I know, unless somebody knows something that I don't. I'm looking for the President Trump post. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Noah?
Oh, sorry. I thought you heard me. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I'm not seeing President Trump's post. Texas Troop, if you find it, can you send it to me? The Truth Social post by President Trump talking about this. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. He's posting a lot. Oh, I think I found it. Well, this was earlier. So this was a Truth Social post by President Trump. The Islamic Republic of Iran shot at least. No, that was way earlier. That was from days ago. I don't know where that other post is. He posts a lot. Anyways, I'll just wait for somebody to send that to me on Telegram. But go on. Oh, thank you, Nilbani. All right, go on. Who's next?
We have topics next. We're going to discuss this. We're talking about talks in Doha. Other talks that are happening is I did see a post that CENTCOM went to Lebanon, and like the military leaders went to Lebanon, and they're meeting there with the Lebanese military and the Israeli military. They're all having that little get together over there. So that goes into the joint operations I spoke about last week, I think it was. That's what I was hoping for, like joint operations and this kind of thing. I think it bodes well.
By the way, for people who might not like what's happening, I'm actually optimistic if the the Islamic Republic is suffering really bigly back at home inside Iran. Things are escalating. People are openly talking about the fall of IRGC, and then even people are talking about the removal of IRGC, which I haven't heard anyone talk about within Iran. Which this is now becoming normalized to talk about. It seemed like everyone's understanding within Iran is that the Islamic Republic is being defanged and getting ready for slaughter after, like, that's what pro regime people's understanding is, and I do think they're accurate. They're noticing that even in ceasefire, everything is moving against them, and they're slowly everything is being taken away from them. I actually genuinely think that this is a genius plan from United States. I'm not saying it will work, but I genuinely do think, like, given that everything is happening, I do think that we're moving in the right direction. Like, it is the best plan. Again, but here's the thing. I don't think that means that we shouldn't be pressuring United States. I think that two things could be true at the same time. I think that what America is doing right now is the best possible plan. Not when I consider everything, I do think that this is the best you can do. Is if you had unlimited power, and if elections weren't a thing, and if running out of interceptor wasn't a thing, then no, this is not the best plan. But given all the limitations, I genuinely think that this is the absolute smartest plan. When you're recovering, Americans are busy in other places defanging the Islamic Republic. So I think this is a recovery time for the United States. It's not a recovery time for the Islamic Republic, unlike what most people say. The Islamic Republic is losing most of its proxies as we're speaking, in the most key areas in Iraq and Lebanon. So this is, and also in Yemen, their moves are being made against Hezbollah. Very many people are not looking at that. That's also happening. But when I say two things could be true at the same time, this is what I'm talking about. I'm saying that we shouldn't, at least Iranians should keep putting this message out there that we shouldn't be negotiating with the Islamic Republic and no to any sort of a deal. Even though I think that United States, by going for a deal, if they're successful, I'm not saying a deal is possible, but I do, and I'm not saying it's not. I do think worth trying, getting the enriched uranium out of Iran with a deal. It doesn't make sense not to try that. But while I do think that makes sense, at the same time, I do think that the Iranian position, especially Iranian Americans, should be no to negotiating with our oppressors, no to a deal. I think that pressure should be there, because if that pressure is not there, everything works because we have accountability from all sides. Everything moves in the right direction because of the existence of people pushing for it and asking for having maximum demands. So I still see that push as useful. So while I myself as an Iranian see why the Americans are doing what they're doing, I also recognize why the Iranians, especially Iranian Americans, should keep up their advocacy for no negotiations and no deal. I know this sounds like a contradiction, but let me know if you disagree. Okay, who do we have more twos?
We have more tools. We also have an update from Noah. He has here an article from News Nation that perhaps you can look into. He posted it right here in the side chat. And while you're looking at that, we can have Pedro. Pedro, go on ahead.
Pedro, go ahead. Pedro 1. Okay, Pedro 1, Pedro 2.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
So what I want to add, guys, is that one of the reasons why I see the Doha talks a little bit effective is because it's not because of a deal being reached with the IRGC. What I mean is that I think it will create a lot of infighting within the regime, because a lot of the ultra hardliners don't want the IRGC to negotiate with the Americans,
All right, Pedro, your audio is cutting
and
in
I
and out. So you're
think the
cut.
Yes.
negotiations are
Pedro,
causing a lot of infighting. What is your opinion on that topic? I
okay,
think it's
uh,
because of the TV.
it's
Okay,
okay. Maybe
maybe
let me just
Le-
mute your audio. Okay, I'll mute your audio, Pedro, because your audio was cutting in and out. Monkey, what did you understand? What the question was?
he says these talks will also lead to more infighting in the regime because of the hardliners. I think that's a possibility. Also, because the funeral coming up, it brings up, oh, we got A and corn for the, you know what I'm saying? That whole thing with the infighting, that might also be a part of continuing negotiations. Have that side effect. You know, we kind of had said that before. That's good for them
Yeah,
to keep
obviously.
infighting.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's been happening a lot. Like I couldn't do an Iran update today because I did a show with a guy instead, but I have a lot of videos that it shows that the infighting is escalating to new heights. It's unbelievable. Like it's actually speeding up faster than faster than I thought. Much faster than I thought.
All right, with that, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit more on that article. If we're not going to that, maybe we could check on super chats. I don't see any more twos or a new topic. You let me know.
I think the next topic is the relevant to Iran as well. Let me just do the super chats really quickly. Dwayne, I think, has just became a member. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for joining our group. Fleshy Interloper, thank you so much for the super chat saying most ship traffic taking North Channel, Iran supervised. Okay, so you're saying the Islamic Republic is successful in moving the traffic from the northern part of the Strait of Hormuz. So that is not sustainable. Let me see what the oil prices are now. Okay, oil prices are at 73. So all of the crazy activity that we saw over the weekend didn't have much of an impact. We went from 72 to 73. Still dropping month over month. We're still down 13%. That is crazy. Like Flesh Interloper, I don't know what's your take on this. We went to 72 and everything that happened over the weekend only bought it to 73. What the hell? Is the market open? What the hell?
It should close soon, but it had all day to go up and it didn't.
It didn't. This is impressive. This is really good for the United States. Fleshy Interloper saying looks bad for tolls and US credibility. Yeah, but then why the market is acting so favorably to this? That's interesting. I think something is happening behind the scenes, maybe that we don't know about. I think maybe is it possible that the United States is letting the Islamic Republic save face just for the meantime, just so that they could get the negotiation? Maybe for the Doha talks, the Americans are basically allowing this to go through, just so that the negotiations could happen. And the Islamic Republic is saying, like, listen, just let us save face a little bit. We'll figure everything else later. What do you think?
May I add another possibility? I think maybe these are companies that are more aligned with the IRGC that would willingly use it. Like maybe I know they have their trouble with China when it comes to like who they're firing at. They seem to be a little scattershot, but maybe there's a little bit more communication behind the scenes, and the regimes that are aligned with Iran are using the lanes that they want used. Is that maybe a possibility?
Wait, say that again. Let me give you context before you ask it again. So the Islamic Republic is really angry with Oman. The Islamic Republic is very insistent that the MOU that they signed means that the control of ship trafficking around the Strait of Hormuz is up to them. That's a retarded take. Why IRGC actually came out and said that on State TV. That's a retarded take because that means that the Islamic Republic's understanding of the MOU is that the territorial integrity of Oman has been violated by the MOU. Like, that's not something that the Americans are even able to give to the Islamic Republic. To basically make Oman was not even a signatory to the MOU, and the Islamic Republic is pretending that the traffic going through the Strait of Hormuz has to be managed by only go through the lanes that are approved by the Islamic Republic, completely violating the Oman's rights around that area. And Oman is now working with the Americans to allow shipment to go through the lanes closer to their country in the south. And Islamic Republic is now pissed with the Omanis, and that's why they're shooting drones at missiles that are going through the southern lanes. That's what's happening, right? But now, if fleshy interloper is confirming that ships are going through the northern lane, um, I don't know how the Islamic Republic has managed to get that happening. But given that oil prices are this low, maybe there's an arrangement happening behind the scenes between the Americans and the Islamic Republic. But what was your question again?
It could, I was asking, could it be regimes that are aligned with Iran and want to appease that lane? China, for example, maybe China would voluntarily, they wouldn't feel forced to use the lower lane. They would want to use the lane that Iran says, just to give it credibility. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, could this be a move by China and Chinese companies to give that lane credibility? That was my question.
So let me just make something clear. There is no regime that is aligned with the Islamic Republic. There are regimes that sometimes use the Islamic Republic, but there is absolutely no regime on planet Earth that is aligned with the Islamic Republic. Even China doesn't want the Islamic Republic to have control over the Strait of Hormuz. China is a bigger ally of the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf than the Islamic Republic, and it is very much interested in making sure that the Strait of Hormuz is free for all, with nobody being able to dominate it. It's actually something this is actually something that the Islamic Republic does that pisses off the CCP. Remember, like, the CCP gets even more oil from the Arab countries and Iraq and Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and all of that, more than it gets from the Islamic Republic. And its relationship with those Arab countries is way more important to it than its relationship with the Islamic Republic, right? So having the Islamic Republic be able to control the shipments going through the Strait of Hormuz is something that the CCP doesn't like.
Okay, that does make sense. Thank you for the answer.
No worries.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.